Okay, looks like I am live. So today in Melbourne, it's pretty hot. Probably up to about 40, getting close to 40 degrees Celsius outside. And yeah, went to the markets a little bit before, got some groceries, but I'm back home now. And last night I was planning to do this stream, actually. Didn't get around to doing it. But I wanted to try a new format and see whether this might work, whether you guys might like it or not, whether anyone actually even shows up. Because I do see that there's a few people live, but watching along. But I wanted to do a little bit more of this live kind of content because the last 2 or 3 streams that I did got some good feedback from everyone. And, you know, a lot of off-the-cuff sort of comments as well from myself and from everyone else. But I wanted to try this new format where I just go through a bit of an unboxing of a new light that I've had in the mail. So, you know, it might not even be really planned. This one I've got a few dot points just to keep me on track to know what I'm talking about, like, for example, like UI, performance, that kind of thing. But apart from that, I don't really have anything scripted or anything planned for this particular video. So basically, I got a new light from Armytek recently. This is the Predator Pro, and I do have a bunch of lights from them already. I've actually got the Dobermann Pro. I've also got the Crystal, I think the Crystal Pro, that's what it's called, and then one of their headlamps as well. And I was lucky enough to get a sample of this one sent to me for free by Armytek, and they didn't know I was going to make this live video. I just decided to give it a shot based on the feedback from you guys. Some of you do like some long form flashlight content, and you know, my mate Tim and I actually started a flashlight podcast as well recently. There's only one episode on there, but Tim's editing the second one. I did the first, so that second one will be up soon. But drop me a message in the chats if you're watching along. Let me know whereabouts you're watching from and kind of what you're up to, whether you've got any new lights that you're interested in, got your eye on at the moment. I'm sure there's always something out there that you've got your eye on. Mario, how you doing, Mario? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. And yeah, basically, I don't have a big plan or anything for this particular video. I just want to show you what's in the box. And there's 2 versions of the Predator Pro. So you get the one that just comes in a box like this. Okay, that's the box of the Dobermann Pro. And the Predator Pro, if you just get the normal version without all the accessories, I guess some basic accessories, that's what it comes with. You get the holster and you get a clip, charger, all that kind of stuff in there. What else do you get? But yeah, I really wanted to see this particular version, and this one I would say is more targeted towards hunters, people that mount this, basically mount this onto a barrel. So yeah, this is basically the box made of some sort of tough sort of plastic. What have you got in here? You got some specs in there, but I'm going to show you what you get in the box. You can read of all those specifications and stuff online like really easily, so I thought, you know, might as well just show you what you get in there. So yeah, I mean, I've been into tactical lights, long range tactical lights for quite a while now, and you know, these warmer style tactical lights, the warmer LED tactical lights, it's something that people either like or they hate. I find, I mean, some people like them because they think that it sort of cuts through the fog a lot better. I found that myself, and lately I've just been using them more. So this one, and also, you know, Convoy Z1 at 3000K, W5050 SQ3, I've been using that as well. But I wanted to see what this one would be like, and it's more of a premium style or premium flashlight, really, based on the price tag and the quality of it anyhow. And yeah, like I said, I've reviewed tons of Armytek flashlights, not tons, but about 3 or 4 of them before in the past, and always been impressed with that build quality. They just go the extra mile. And this one's got potted electronics, same with the Dobermann Pro as well, so that extends the durability and the obviously like shock resistance as well, gives a little bit more shock resistance. And yeah, I just like the attention to detail in all their products. So anyway, let's have a look at what you get. So this is the Predator Pro, and I've actually put on some of the accessories already. So there's this tactical ring here on the back. Okay, I like this sort of style tactical ring. There are ones you see on Olight that just come out and it just sticks out the back like that, and you put your finger through it, but it just, yeah, it looks a little bit clumsy. But I prefer this sort of style ring, and you know, you can just sort of hold it like that, and feels more comfortable, a bit more slick as well. And there's a little clip here on the back. Okay, sort of short clip. Myra's asking, I'm still curious about the Well Tool T1 and T2. Haven't bought any new lights lately. Last one was the Warrior Mini 3, which I carry very often, and the Ace Beam Tac AA, great output, but don't really carry. Yeah, the T2, is that the one I keep getting mixed up because they have so many of these models. Is that the LEP SMD LEP version? Because I've been curious about that one as well. Apparently it throws something like 700 meters or something for like a 14500 cell light, which is really impressive. And yeah, excuse me, my voice is a little bit croaky today. I've got a bit of a, it looks like I've got a bit of a cold coming on. Hopefully I can kick it. Hopefully I can kick it this weekend. And yeah, the Ace Beam Tac, yeah, that's another one as well. I've heard about that, but yeah, haven't had the chance to actually review that one as of yet. But that's some good suggestions, Mario. And yeah, so this is just a little look of the light, and the holster as well. Really good quality holster. It's made out of nylon, looks like. No sort of frayed edges, or yeah, it just looks like a really good quality, tough kind of holster that's going to last you a while. You got this bit here at the back that's reinforced with Velcro and a button. So you put that, put your belt through that as well. There's also a ring there. So I guess if you are attaching it to your belt or something, like with one of those carabiner style thingos, that's not gonna come off. Yeah, not bad. The case itself is actually pretty cool as well. It's good quality. And yeah, if you use all these accessories, I always find it, you know, if you don't have a case to carry it around, they just end up going missing, or I get them mixed up with other brands and eventually losing them. So it's good to have a case that sort of fits everything in here. Now, something I really liked about this light is that it came with a couple of glass filters, some high quality glass filters. So this one, you can see, this one is green. Okay, and it's, yeah, when you have the light coming, when you put this on the light, it's not like the light that comes off like, you know, a CSL NM1 F1 LED. It's not like a bright green. It's more of like a deep sort of green. And you've got a red filter as well. I don't know if I can actually, oh, there you go. Look, I can actually put it in front of the camera so you can see the the kind of difference. Yeah. And yeah, the optical clarity, because it is glass as well, it's absolutely amazing. And it's sort of rubberized thingos on the sides. You basically just kind of got to push them onto the front of the light. Takes a little bit of encouragement, okay, but at least it's not going to fall off. Okay, and the green one produces a little bit more throw, a little bit more light actually than the red one. Yeah, with red LEDs, I just find that they don't throw as far. Yeah, there we go. And the sort of green wavelength. So, a couple of filters, which is great, especially if you're spotting animals. From what I've read, they just aren't. They're not able to detect red light, and green light isn't perceived as a threat to them. So yeah, whether you do some bushwalking or hunting. So this is the charger that it comes with. So you've got a magnetic charger. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Now, the good thing with Armytek though is that they accept non-proprietary cells. Okay, but there is no onboard charging. It's very easy to just attach, as you can see there, charge it. But yeah, if you want to charge that battery separately, you're going to need an external charger of some sort. Sometimes what I do is that I actually bring another light with me that has onboard charging abilities rather than bringing another charger. But if you've got multiple lights with multiple batteries, you probably want to get an external charger. But yeah, the ease of using this this charger, I mean, you really can't beat that. But again, for some people, they don't really like that. But you know, like I said, the good thing is that Armytek, they do allow you to use non-proprietary cells. They work so that the cell that they have included in here, I'm gonna go out on a guess and say this is probably a rewrapped Samsung cell. So 3,700 milliamp hour cell. So that's the limit of an 18650 cell. I don't think I've seen one with a higher rating than that. I think some of the Nightcore ones might have a higher rating, but they're also larger. They make some custom batteries, so it's just a flat top cell. Okay, button top's gonna work as well. Unprotected cell, and they recommend that. Armytek recommend that if you're going to use a non-proprietary cell, high drain that has at least a 10 amp draw. Oops, just screw this thing in. And what was I gonna show you again? There's O-rings in the back. There's also two dual O-rings in the front as well. Takes me a little time to unscrew this, and I'll show you some of the specifications. Here you can see a couple of the O-rings. So you see, I'll show you some of the specifications later on their website. But they have this really cool. Yeah, they have a lot of information on their website on the specifications, and apparently this will last over an hour underwater, submerged at 25 meters. So I'll have to bring that up. I'm just sort of going off the top of my head there, but I'm pretty sure that was what they mentioned on their website. Can I bring up the website? Let's see if I can find it. I might be able to actually... yeah, I might actually be able to bring it up and give you guys a little peek of the website in a moment. But what else is there to really talk about? Well, before I get a little bit closer to the light, so normal sort of magnetic, or not normal, magnetic charging. They also give you a separate 18650 cell, so you get two 18650 cells, which is great. And you're definitely paying for it with the kit version. It's 170 US. But you do get a bunch of accessories. This accessory here is a mount, so you can mount that to a rifle. I'm actually in the process of getting licensed, so yeah, it's like a universal mount, and it's got a very, very strong magnet. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I've got something that I can sort of stick it onto. You have to take my word. For it. But there's these dual, what I believe are neodymium magnets in there. They're just super strong. And Armytek have put a layer of, what do you call it, like insulation plastic over the front of it, which is really good, because I find when you have those neodymium magnets and they're just exposed, they're actually really brittle, prone to cracking. And so if you sort of just snap that light onto a barrel or something like that, you could damage it, or it just slowly starts chipping off at the edges, and yeah, that's no good at all. So I really like that they actually thought of this idea to encase it in a bit of plastic, and doesn't decrease the performance of it, as well. This is just one mount, and it's the only mount that they include with this light, but there are, I believe, another 5 or 6 different mounts depending on the rifle or whatever you're using. So okay, take that off. Just having a look at some of the chats. And Mario says vape cell has some with more capacity. That's a good pickup. Thanks, Mario. I'll have a look at that. I find like, this 18650 form factor is the perfect form factor for me anyway when I'm carrying around flashlights. But yeah, it would be great if they just kept improving on the energy density. And I've heard about, for example, them coming up with something like solid state lithium ion cells, which could store potentially up to 3, 4, 5 times the capacity of this. But yeah, a lot of this battery tech is still in research and not available to the general public. Free Bougainville says, I've been trying to get the right O-rings for my old Armytek Wizard. None fit right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that light, but yeah, my mate Tim McMahon on his channel, if you check him out, Tim McMahon Flashlights. Yeah, he'll know. If you comment on one of his videos, he'll get back to you, because he's got a bunch of those Armytek Wizards, and he's also got all these little accessories, so he'll know kind of what will Lego with what. Might be able to grab an O-ring off another light, spare ring, that kind of thing. So yeah, you must use it a fair bit. Now, have you owned that light for a while? Because yeah, I hear like when you get sand and stuff. If you get these lights, if you use them a lot, you get sand and stuff in there, or especially if you don't keep them lubricated, it also wears out those O-rings a lot faster. You need to use some of that silicone gel. I've got a little tube of it somewhere. Mario Vape Cell N40 18650. Wow, okay, yeah, 4,000 milliamp hour. Great, I'll have a look at that one. Thanks, Mario. That's 4,000 milliamp hour. That's at this like capacity of some 21700 cells. So that's really impressive. I wonder if it's got a high draw capacity as well, whether it can like take up to 10 amps. Because I find like with a lot of cells that have higher capacities, they tend to have lower draw ratings. You even see the Samsung 30T, which is a 21700 cell, that I think could take up to 40 amps, 30 to 40 amps, and it's only 3,000 milliamp hours. But it's great for those lights, like they have FET drivers in them. Really just get that gigantic hit of light to begin with. And okay, Bougainville. Free Bougainville says there are none fit right. The old O-ring got mashed up. Okay. Yeah. Gotta get under. It must have got under the sort of the screwy sort of bits. Kona Commuter says, not fan of the magnetic barrel mount. Yeah, you know a lot more about rifles and stuff than me. I've gone to like a couple of ranges here over in Melbourne, but yeah, I'm in the process of getting licensed. It's actually really like long, lengthy process. But do you find, why don't you like it? Does it just sort of, I can imagine it would slip off if you're not careful. Maybe you move your hand over it and you knock the light off, or it, just moves it in the direction that you don't want it to move in. Yeah, I'm the same with like a physical clamp or something like that sort of goes around, and then you can tighten it so that it doesn't move. I feel a lot more confident with those. And yeah, I know you ride a motorbike as well. I stick a camera out in the front, and no way I'm gonna use a magnetic mount for that camera. I won't have that camera for very long, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I use a handlebar mount for my for my camera, and I can also actually mount a flashlight onto that same clamp. So just gotta swivel it around, which is great. And yeah, Mario says yes, 10 amps. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's 21700 capacity. So in that case, I'd be thinking to myself, why am I going to carry around 21700 light? But yeah, a lot of 21700 lights, the advantage also is that they have a lot more heat sinking and they have a larger reflector. So, yeah, but of course, it's just going to be a lot more difficult, like clumsy to kind of carry around. This one is a 20. This one's an 18650 configuration light, but it's about the same. It's even larger than some of my 21700s, and that's because of this gigantic reflector in there. But if you want a light that has significant throw, especially if you're not using one of those green LEDs or one of those NM1, Osram W1, W2 LEDs, you just need a larger reflector. Smaller reflectors aren't going to give you more than maybe 200-300 meters of throw max. And actually, when you end up using it outside, although this is rated at 500 meters of throw, under normal conditions with the particulate matter in the air and just just the light sensitivity, the general our light sensitivity from our eyes, you're probably going to get 200-300 meters max on a practical sort of scale. So, a lot of companies, they rate their lights based on, I can't remember what it is, something to do with like moonlight hitting a white surface. I think like 0.5 lumen from that particular distance. So it's like theoretical distance, so that the light does reach the 500 meters, but we're not going to be able to see it. So fine. Sometimes, a lot of the time, I got going out doing these beam shots, and I have to alter the camera. I have to change the ISO settings to make them a little bit brighter or a little bit dimmer, depending on, and just try to match it to how I see it with my eyes. Because sometimes the camera is, you can make the f-stop value really low or whatever, open up the lens so that the camera is very sensitive to light. So it just looks like the light has really long throw. But when you actually look at it with your eyes, it doesn't look that bright. So I try to kind of match it to what I see. Yeah. Kona Commuter says, I've seen magnetic barrel mounts fail due to recoil. Yeah. Yep. I'd imagine that'd be the case. This one's pretty strong, but I don't know. I really don't know if how it would actually hold up against maybe more powerful rifle. Maybe like a 22 or something like that. You'd be fine. Are you going Darko Kovacevic? Kovacevic. Hopefully I've pronounced your name correctly. Let's have a look. What else do you get with this? So you get the mount, get the extra battery, which is great. You get some little accessories, little lanyard. I don't use lanyards. I find them a bit annoying. Okay, but if you're just carrying, if you're just carrying it around and maybe you're in a place where you might drop it off somewhere, it's always a good little option to have with you. Good quality lanyard, couple of spare O-rings there. Interestingly, they've included a charging port. A charging plug. This is a European one. Not going to work for me. I'm in Australia, but I'll have to use an adapter. I guess you plug that in. Okay, so if you don't have access to a computer or a charging bank or something, you've got that. But these are these are available anywhere really. Good to see that they at least included that, though, just for convenience. Manual. And the manual is really simple. The one that they include, where is it here? Let me just see if I can find Predator Pro. Yeah. Now the one that they include in the pack is like a very, very basic version. It's just one page. See if we can just lower the brightness. You can't see that. Yeah, it's just like a one-page document. Shows you the different modes. Doesn't tell you any specifications about the LEDs. So if you go online and you search up the online versions of these Armytek flashlights, they always have a more complex manual that you can go through and just read to get a bit more information about the light. here are some other things. Now, I couldn't figure out what these are. Does anyone know what these things are? Like maybe you guys that uh, hunters, or you guys have rifles and stuff. Like what is? I have no idea what these are for. But there is this switch that came with the light, and initially I was trying to install this thing, and I was thinking, how the heck does this work? Because I unscrewed the back of the light and I tried to pop it on, but it turns out there's no threads on here. So I realized it actually just sticks onto the back of the light like that. So it's like magnetic. Okay, and then you've got a couple of buttons here. So there you go. That's like a momentary sort of button, and then that one's just like your constant on button. Okay. Now I do notice that there's a very, very slight delay. It's like maybe it's like 200-300 milliseconds. It's barely noticeable. Okay. But yeah. So this is a switch that you can mount to a rifle, and there's actually these couple of Velcro bits here. So you just 2 bits, stick a bit of Velcro there on the actual switch, the other bit on your rifle, and there you have it. And the good thing is that it's just so easy as well to, because I was thinking, I didn't realize this was Velcro initially. I was like, it looks like it's just a sticker, one of those 2-sided stickers, and it's just going to be annoying. But it's Velcro, so, and it's magnetic, so it's very easy to sort of dismount it as well, attach. So there's a lot of these little convenient features in here, and like you can tell that I'm quite fascinated by all this, because I've never got a light that had all these different accessories. Just haven't required them myself. But here's the switch, what do you call it, the corded switch, and fantastic quality. It feels like it's really gonna hold up. There we go, just a little close up of that switch there. Okay, it's a few, you guys, I think you know some of this stuff. Kona Commuter says, I like lanyards on my torches. Yeah, like I guess if you're traveling and stuff as well, and you're up. I have nearly dropped. In fact, I've dropped a light once, but it was close enough for me to pick up. But it's a good insurance policy, isn't it? And to attach to a weapon sling, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that stuff. So, Bold Brian says to attach the holster to pack. Okay. Molar. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to read this up. But I guess, it's good that they have all these little attachments, all these little accessories, depending on what you're using it for. But this is more geared towards hunters, I suppose. How do I put this thing back in? Don't know. Something like that. So that's basically what you get. That's basically what you get in the pack. And probably the most exciting bits for me are these colored lenses, and like the quality of them as well. I mean, they're just fantastic. No plastic stuff. Great optical clarity, and because they're recessed as well, and there's just so much. There's actually O-ring. Yeah, you can see sort of an O-ring behind there. Bit of shock resistance. It really looks like it's going to take a beating, if not for the light itself even. I'll just show you a little bit closer. So overall, I guess my impressions overall is really high quality construction. So I own over probably 120 different lights now from different brands. So you can really tell when you know, when companies skip a step or they take shortcuts, which sometimes you have to do at certain price points and doesn't make a difference to the overall performance of the light. But when you have a light that is just, you know, flawless in its construction, there's no sort of nicks and sort of rough spots, and it's also designed, you know, well, so it's aesthetically pleasing, you really do notice the difference. So yeah, it definitely feels quite premium. And I also notice it's not too heavy. For a light of this size, I'd expect it to be a little, maybe like a little heavier, but, you know, I mean, comparing it to my Convoy M21B, let's see if I got it. Here, M21B. I mean, they feel pretty much the same. I should have should buy one of them little kitchen scales so I can actually weigh them. But that's a 21700 light as well. And my Nextorch TA30C, the Nextorch feels heavier, a little heavier. So they've managed to keep the weight down. And still have some decent heat dissipation on this light as well. Because you don't want to make the walls too thin. If you make the walls too thin, you're going to sacrifice on durability and also heat dissipation. But if you're mounting this to a weapon, especially to the front of the weapon, obviously that's going to pull off the balance. But it's going to be a little more uncomfortable. So, you know, weight's going to make a difference. And I see some people also mount lights like the Convoy L21B onto rifles as well, and they that particular model was made so that it would be lighter. So yeah, surprisingly quite light, but not, you know, not super light, but very comfortable. Yeah, if you guys have questions as well, just just drop a question in the chat. Doesn't have to be about this particular light. If you just arrived, that basically I'm trying a new format of reviews where I'm just gonna try to do some of these live. A lot of this is going to be off the cuff, and I haven't properly actually, you know, I've had this light for how long now, like 4 or 5 days, so I haven't properly gone outside and tested it, taken beam shots, but I have taken some tests and ceiling bounce tests as well, which I'll bring up on the screen later. But yeah, I just wanted to go through, try this new format, unbox, talk a bit about things off the cuff, give you guys an opportunity to chat and ask questions as well, because yeah, I got some good feedback from the last two, and I have fun doing these as well. So it's so bloody hot outside today in Melbourne. I think it's about 36 Celsius now, so don't really feel like going out. Just did a bit of grocery shopping before, and I got some steak, got some sausages, some fish. So yeah, back home and just trying to chill out for a little bit. Let's see. Seems like that they cut back on the clip. Yeah. So the clip is okay. It's made of a decent quality. It's like a high tensile steel, so it's not one of them cheap, you know, it's not one of them cheap clips that you get on some of those budget flashlights out there that just bend, and you know, you put them in your pocket and you pull, and you have to sort of bend them back. You know, that's rubbish. But definitely it's a tiny little clip, and when I took it out of the little baggie, I was actually wondering where's the clip, and it was in this little baggie with the O-rings. So yeah, it's like, it would be nice. It was maybe a little bit longer, but they've put it just to the point. What do you call it? They've put it right up to the point here where the body joins onto the head, the battery tube. So because actually to operate this light, I mean, you can turn it on, but you unscrew the head to change modes. It's very odd. Like you change, and then you press the tail switch to like switch between. Once it's unscrewed, switch between different modes. So with the head unscrewed, there's different modes you can access. With the head screwed in, you pretty much have access to turbo only. So that's something really really interesting. I think this is like a really old school sort of style of tactical flashlights, and some people prefer that there is some, you know, like a side switch. And I actually went on to the Armytek website recently and have a look at their catalog, and they soon they'll be releasing. I don't know exactly when, but there's a Predator Pro Max version that will be coming out probably later this year. I don't know the exact date, but that one actually has a side switch on it. So I don't know if they've changed the unscrewable head sort of thing, but yeah. I find that if you need a light that just has no chance of changing modes while using it accidentally, you know, this sort of design is great, because you just got to make sure it's screwed in completely on both ends, and whenever you press that switch at the end, you're going to get that turbo mode. Okay, on the tactical mode, you actually unscrew the head a little bit, and every time you press a switch, you get a strobe mode. So yeah, initially I thought the UI was quite complicated, but actually it's not. There's two modes, hunting and tactical mode. Actually, I'll go through that a little bit more later. I want to get back to the point of just the general construction. Now, the anodizing is something I really love on Armytek flashlights. I've not had, you know, compared to a lot of my other flashlights out there, and, you know, I haven't been exposed to some other brands, quite a few brands as well, but compared to a lot of the ones that I have, this is the only one that's got this really, really grippy, I don't know how to describe it. It's just such a grippy kind of anodizing, and it's very, very matte black as well. Okay, and so they can get away with not having any knurling on the battery tube. You know, if you compare it to something like this here, my Phoenix lights. This is the Phoenix PD35. Can you see the difference of that anodizing? It's like night and day. The Phoenix PD35 is quite slippery, and yeah, they've got to go a bit more aggressive with their knurling. But this one here, I'm rubbing my thumb over it, and it's actually taking a bit of the skin off my thumb, like the dead skin off my thumb. So yeah, whereas the others, it sort of just slips around. So I really like this anodizing, this a kind of confidence that you feel when you're holding it that I don't get with other lights. Yeah, just that matte black kind of look as well, just looks $1,000,000. It's awesome. I'm gonna have a look. There's a few more chats here as well, and Polymathematics. Hey Gus, good to see you. You made it for this one. What time is it for you guys? It's must be, maybe it must be pretty late for you guys over in the States. I wasn't expecting too many people to show up, but happy you guys keep me company. And Kona Commuter says, dang, that light is really growing on me, but I've only just got my Olight Warrior 3S Ti for 2 days. Yeah, probably a bit too early to be ordering another one. Yeah. So Armytek send me sample of their lights. I've got about 4 samples of their lights, but I don't get paid any commissions from them. They don't pay me to run these videos as well. It's just off my own time, and I asked them for a discount voucher for my subscribers. That's in the video description. So yeah, if you have interested, you can get a 15% discount off. I don't get paid anything from them. I've just asked them for the voucher. I'm just happy to get samples from them, be able to make these videos. Bold Brian, it can't be in the way of where the weapon's light attachment goes. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that must be what you're mentioning here, Brian. Where the clip, if the clip were to go further down, we wouldn't be able to attach that. What do you call it? Yeah, the mount, that clamp. So that's a good point. There's a clean spot right there, kind of in the. Yeah. And now you see 8 from the US. How you doing? Good to see you. 11:25 p.m. Yeah, pretty late for you. No, not for me. It's not too late. I have to go to sleep like I probably should go to sleep earlier, to be honest, but I'm usually in bed like 1 o'clock a lot of nights. Kona Communis is when I had a torch for a bump in the night scenario. I found the importance of how easy UI actually is. In my adrenaline state, put the torch in lock mode. Sometimes, you don't know how you're going to react in those sort of situations. And the more simple it is, one switch and you know what it's going to do, it turns on and it turns off. You're not going to pick up an Enduro light at that moment and think, okay, I'm going to double press for that, and I'm going to press and hold, and then you're in the auxiliary modes, and then you've got someone that clubs you in the head. Phoenix P35 was my favorite torch until my Warrior 3S arrived. Yep. Warrior 3S. That's a good one as well. It's nice and compact for a 21700 cell light. Yeah, did you say, I think you messaged me the other day, you said that you got the titanium version. But I was asking whether you ordered the normal version and they sent you the limited edition version as well, because if so, that's a bonus. And are you from Australia as well? Because you're using torch. Australia or the UK? So find people over here, we say torch, but now I'm starting to say flashlight. And actually, I use the word flashlight in a lot of my videos because for search rankings, video search rankings, people search for the word flashlight a lot more than torch. So I've kind of flipped over now and I just say flashlight. Makes it easier for people to find my videos. Mario says, yes, even for daily use, simple UI makes things easier. Understand the ability to configure your light, but sometimes when you want to use the light and then you just keep on clicking the button. Yeah. The cool thing is, like with this one, if you want to access the lower mode, so in the hunting mode, you unscrew the head like that. Okay. And you basically it's very hard to tell here on camera, but there's 3 different modes. So it's like a low, medium, high. And they actually call it main 1, main 2, main 3. So if I'm on like main 1 like that, turn off and turn it back on, it remembers that mode. Now the memory mode doesn't, I think you need to have the light off for about a second for it to memorize it. Okay, that's with the head unscrewed. You screw it back in, and again, it just goes straight to turbo every single time. To switch the UIs, I'm going to show you what you have to do. It's a little bit annoying, but at the same time, it makes it unlikely for you to accidentally switch into another mode. So you turn the light on, and you unscrew the head and screw it back in 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and it just flashed once. Okay, you see the light flashed once. So now it's in the tactical mode, which is, honestly, it's sort of similar, but you turn it on and you unscrew the head. Okay, I've tightened it too much. Okay, let me turn on, unscrew the head, unscrew it, and screw it back in, and so you get like a low mode. Okay, and then you do the same thing, high. So you got low, high for tactical, low, high. Okay, now if you turn the light off, unscrew it, press the button, then you just get access to strobe mode. There's 2 different strobe modes hidden in here. There's like a low strobe, high strobe. So yeah, once you get a grasp of like how to switch the UIs, and honestly, you're not going to be doing it much. For me, I'm just going to leave it in hunting mode because that allows me to have access to those 3 lower modes. Makes it a bit more, for me anyway, because I'm not using this for hunting or anything like that. Not yet anyway. So, I'm basically just, the lower modes make it more practical for me to use it at night sometimes. So, yeah. Okay. Polymathematics, Gus, 8:25 here in Washington State. Yeah. It's a good time. You had your dinner and everything. How have you been? Good to see you here today. It's been a really hot day in Melbourne, so I'm just staying in and trying to make some videos, get a little bit of work done. We've got a long weekend also here in Melbourne, so yeah, Monday's a day off for most people at work. At the moment for me, it is 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. So yeah. And Kona Commuter says I'm Australian. Yep, thought so. Righty. So what was I talking about again? I was talking about a bit of the overall build. The tail cap. The tail cap here. Oops. Let me just try to. Oh, so the stream sort of died. I thought the stream still died for a second, but it didn't. It's okay. Just get a bit worried. Sometimes my internet's a little bit shoddy, so sometimes it cuts in and out when I'm doing these live shows. Kind of freaks me out a little bit because I don't want it to crash. The switch here in the back, and I'll show you a bit of the website in a moment. I'm just taking my time. But the switch is an electronic switch, and I was always not a big fan of electronic switches because what I found with a lot of lights, budget lights, I've only had experience with them in budget lights, is that there's always a delay when you press the button, but there's absolutely no delay at all with this one. And Armytek say that the switch is, I don't know, what do they say, like 10 times more durable. So that they've run it through some kind of test, where they put them through durability tests, and they just have a machine and they just mash that button like, I don't know, 100,000 times or whatever to test the durability of it. So yeah, according to their website, it's actually a lot more durable than traditional mechanical switches. And some of you might think, oh, well, it doesn't tail stand. And this was a little complaint that I used to have as well. But this is actually a pro and a con at the same time. So when I was doing ceiling bounce tests, yeah, it's a little bit annoying. I've got to put it in a cup or something. But this also means that if the switch is completely recessed and maybe you really want to just turn that light on quickly without using your fingers, you can actually just mash it with your palm like that and turn it on. Okay, turn the light on and off. So it makes it a little bit easier to find that button. There's no way you can miss that button. Okay, there's only one on the end there. There's some tactile lights that have 2 switches, and those are a little bit, iffy as well for people who really need to make sure that the light turns on to the mode that they want. For example, let me show you. Like this light here. See how there's 2 switches? So it turns on to turbo, but if I'm in a bit of a rush, or I'm in a bit of a panic and I just mash the button, suddenly I've accidentally turned it on to low, and I don't want it into low. Then maybe I'm panicking. I'm like, and so you have to ramp it up again and get it to the top of the ramp. So that could potentially, be an issue. That could be an issue. But then there's a convenience as well. One, you get access to 1-step strobe there, and then you get access to all these other little modes in there. So it's, you win some, you lose some, I guess, depending on what you need the light for. And yeah, okay, lots of rain and cold gusts. It's the opposite for us here at the moment in Melbourne, which is quite what do you call it? Quite rare. It's usually really cold here in Melbourne, and just miserable, raining for 3/4 of the year. So it's nice to have a bit of sunlight every now and then, but it's just too much today for me. Might go for a bit of a motorbike ride later on when it just cools down a bit. So, Kona Commuter Olight Australia had a sale, and the Warrior 3S Ti was basically half the price of the standard one. Wow. Yeah, that's a really good deal. That's a really good deal. And titanium as well is it's about 1.5 times heavier than aluminium, so it's not that much heavier. The only drawback I find with the titanium is it's not as good of a heat dissipator, so compared to aluminium, but it has a more premium feel, and the weight of it, I don't know, it's certainly more durable to scratching, abrasion, and if you whack it onto something, especially if you get a scratch on an aluminium flashlight, it really just bugs you well, bugs me anyway, because it's so, you know, so easy to see it. But on titanium flashlights, you know, I've dropped my a couple of mine a few times and barely see a scratch on it. You really have to like try to find it. Yeah, they're tough and they're very unique looking as well. So that's a great deal, Kono Commuter. So yeah, talked a bit about the switch. I don't know what else to talk about really. I guess the head of the lights, something you might want to know about. So we'll just measure the head of the light. It's significant. It's about 4 centimeters. About 4 centimeters. So for you Americans out there, I can try to 1.6 inches. Yeah. So yeah, it's not, it's not going to be the most comfortable to pocket in your jeans pocket, but it's not really meant for that. You clip that to your belt or put it in a holster. For an EDC, no, it's not going to be much of an EDC unless you want to clip it onto your pocket. If you're in law enforcement or security or something like that, this will be really good because obviously, you get the build quality and the functionality of this light, but you're not going to really be worried about trying to jam it into a jeans pocket. You're going to have, put it onto your belt or something like that. And yeah, Gus, you got the science background. You've got a much stronger science background than me and as well. So yeah, aluminium transfers heat better, but titanium is harder than aluminium, so it's more resistant to scratches. Yeah, and there's different alloys of titanium and aluminium as well. So I think they changed the quantities of vanadium, and yeah, there's other elements that they put in there to yeah, there's different grades basically. So I'm not sure exactly which grades they use. I know with the normal aluminium flashlights, they use 6061 aluminium, which is, I believe it's like aircraft grade, but there's so many different ones. Even as an American, so this is now UC8. Even as an American, I use millimeters to measure lights. Yeah, you guys are the only people that using this it's imperial system. Yeah, because I do paint, like this is odd. People find this surprising, but I'm an artist, so I do art tutorials on my other channel, and a lot of Americans on there as well always asking me, what's the size of your paper? And I'll give them the sizes in centimeters, but they're like, what's that in inches? And so lucky I have this ruler. This used to be, I think that's from my dad's toolbox, so I just flip it over and then give everyone both measurements, so it keeps the Aussies happy, and it keeps the Americans happy as well. So yeah, most aluminium alloys will be softer than titanium alloys. Yeah, I guess so. Yep. I mean, titanium, even just like raw titanium, is going to be stronger than aluminium, isn't it? And I believe they're both. They don't come in its raw sort of format. Only copper does in the ground, but I think they come in oxides or something, and they just refine them down. In Australia, we mine it, so bauxite. Titanium, I'm not sure. I'm sure maybe it comes in some kind of oxide in nature. Yeah, so this one actually has, as you can see, it's got a really deep reflector. This one goes right to the base of the light of the head. So it's a really deep reflector. It's got an XHP35 in there. Okay, I actually was not sure what LED this was initially, but if you do a bit of digging, I can't get the camera to focus on it, but if you do a bit of digging on the Armytek website, you'll find that each of the manuals for their lights, their online manuals, have a lot more detail. And so this one's the XHP35 High. So it's like a D-domed emitter. Unfortunately, I can't get the thing to focus properly. Oh, there you go, a little bit. It's probably hard to see, but there is like a quad die surface in there. So I can see these little lines. like this cross in the center, and 4 small kind of, yeah, it's almost like a 4mm by 4mm, sorry, a 2mm by 2mm die surface. But you can look up the specs of it. Yeah, you want to get this one. Apparently the XHP35, the non-high version, has pretty bad tint, but this one's good. And yeah, this one's actually 4,000K, about 4,000K. So you might have noticed how it kind of looks very warm here in camera. And yeah, like I said, it's just one of those things these days. I'm really getting into these warmer style throwers. And the bezel, really cool as well. I thought it was titanium to begin with. It is not titanium, it's stainless steel, but they have some type of coating on it, some kind of black oxide coating. Don't know what it is, but really ties into the whole look of it, this whole tactical look, and just looks sleek, blends in with the body nicely. A little bit of crenulation on the side, so you got the light down, you can see it. I can't really see it so well there, but here. Okay, you're going to be able to break a window quite easily with this, but it doesn't have, you know, those sharper glass breaking beads on there. And I know from people who have told me that it can cause problems when you try to get through security checkpoints with these, if you've got either sharp crenulation or those glass breaking bezels, you know. But this one, you probably could get away with it. I'm just, you know, it's definitely not sharp at all, but there is concentrated points on here that would be able to, yeah, concentrate force into these particular points to break a window. Not as easy as those glass breaking beads, but it can be done. And I like that there's a proper bezel in here. You see with some other lights, other tactical lights, for example, like this one, you know, it's just the aluminium that's on the front, and that's not as hard wearing, especially if you drop the light. Yeah, I think it's just, yeah, it's gonna fare better. What else? Yeah, they apparently the head's potted, so there's potted electronics in there. Probably the only potted electronics, potted flashlights I have, the Armytek ones. So they use some kind of resin in the head, so that yeah, the electronics sealed from moisture and also insulated from shock when you drop it. Just increases the longevity of the components as well. Probably also decreases oxidation, corrosion of the components. They give you a 10-year warranty, I believe, with this light. Yeah, 10-year warranty, which is pretty, you know, I think it's pretty generous, especially if you're using this light constantly. Yeah, that's pretty good. Just having a look at the chats. Kona Commuter's asking what are the lumen settings. Let me see if I can bring up the manual, because it did not list them on the physical manual that was included. So I have the. Let me just see if I can bring up this other one. Oh, I've got too many windows open. I'm just trying to bring this one up so I can. Just bear with me, guys. Let's see if we can swap over to the other one. Here. Nope. Oh, I had this scene set up before, but I can't seem to get it to change over. Hang on. Maybe it is this one. There we go. So these are the ratings. Yeah, so you got main 1, 40 lumens, main 2, 120 lumens, main 3, 300 lumens, and it gives you the runtime as well. Turbo, 1500 lumens and 700 lumens after step down. Okay. it's got a pretty narrow sort of spill as well. As you can imagine, with these deeper sort of reflectors, it's optimized for throw. And IP68. Check this out. Submersion at 25 meters for up to 5 hours. That's pretty hardcore. I mean, a lot of lights do not have that rating. And the dual O-rings must really help as well. Fallings from 25 meters. Again, pretty impressive. Pretty sure the FL1... I'm pretty sure that the standards is... I think probably exceeds standards, doesn't it? 25 meters, that seems quite excessive. I thought the standard was about 1.5 meters. Yeah, about 1.5 meter drop. So 25 meters is pretty... I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, yeah, if you drop your light, I'm sure you could go back to them and they'd get it, or if it breaks, and you can get it fixed. But they seem very confident, and to even offer that 10-year rating with, and putting these sort of specs on there as well. Obviously, I mean, I'm not going to purposely torture test it, but light output for flashlights with warm light is 7% less, beam distance 3% less. So the warm version, which is the one I have, they're slightly reduced specifications. Yeah. Oh, just a reminder as well. If you please like the video if you're enjoying this stream. Just helps me to get it out to more people, because sometimes I find people just don't get notified of my videos. So yeah, if you like the video, I think YouTube pushes it out, or tries to push it out to more people. Thank you. Just got 1.5 times light. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of. You can download all this stuff, by the way. You can go online and just check it yourself. So I did have. Let me just bring back the. There we go. This is the actual website itself. You can go in and just see a little bit more of the details. And enlarge this a touch so you guys can see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 6061 T6 titanium. Steel striking bezel, non-reflective black titanium coating prevents location what's that? Oh, location disclosure. See, that's a that's a really cool marketing thing, isn't it? Like, I wouldn't have even thought about that. I mean, if you had like a bezel that was just made of like shiny steel, it does reflect light more, so there's like a practical benefit of having a kind of darker coating on the metal. Used for additional protection of the optical system. Okay, used in case of a fall, shock, and as a shock crushing tool. Yep. Yeah, so there's the weight with and without the battery. Deliberate design. Yeah, this is where I was talking about the potted electronics. So installation of the driver inside a reinforced capsule filled with protective compound. So, wow, that's pretty cool. Some extra protection around the driver. 2 improved springs for even more efficient battery performance, battery and driver protection. It also, there's something that it was mentioning how because of the springs, the battery is more insulated from heat. And I tested this. I ran a long sustained output test, and the light was pretty hot on the head after like 30 minutes, but the battery is noticeably cooler than the rest of the flashlight. So I guess because it just makes very little contact with the springs. Yeah, just on that point there. I don't know whether those the ones that just have it's not a spring, but there's like a copper nub kind of at the end there, whether that makes a big difference. But for tactical lights, a lot of people prefer these springs because they also provide some recoil protection. So if you have a bit of recoil with the light, with the battery whacking into the driver, that could potentially damage the electronics over time. So the spring helps insulate the shock from the battery moving around. Withstands any recoil. Okay, we'll see about that. Two-phase electronic button. So there you go. That's what I was talking about before. The 20 times, or it's saying 20 times more durable compared to mechanical switch. Non-flat button allows easy switching on off the palm. Noiseless. Yeah, forgot to mention that. It does not make, like, there's a little bit of noise, but it's a really dampened sort of noise. Okay. We'll switch back. I'll switch back again to the light itself. It just goes on forever, doesn't it? Okay, let me just switch back. Right. I don't know what else to really talk about. I've talked about, like, yeah, most of the construction, the LEDs. I've talked a bit about the UI. I've shown you how to use the UI a little bit as well. Well, what I might do is just bring up some of the specifications of some tests that I've run on the lights, but I'll just check the chats a little bit first. Any other torch from Mario? Mario says in the chats, any other torch need to work in my Australian language recommendation similar in size to the Warrior Mini 3 and Convoy S2 Plus. Any other torch? Are you talking about like tactical lights, Mario, or just like, does it have to be a tail switch light? Does it have to be a throwy sort of light, or can it be a side switch light as well? Similar in size to the Warrior Mini 3 and Convoy S2 Plus. Yeah. I would say, like, yeah, the Phoenix PD35 or the PD35R, two of the lights I use pretty often. Similar, yeah, they're not as small, but yeah, similar sort of diameter. They're not as short, I mean. Thinking what else? Yeah, you might want to check out the Convoy S8 as well. Convoy S8. Yeah, just off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything. I'm like turning my head over to the side to see what lights I have. What lights I have over there. Yeah. So Nextorch TA. What is it? The Nextorch. Jeez, it's the 18651. It's TA30C, I think. Yeah, it's the Nextorch TA30C. Let me just search this to make sure. That's a really, really cool little 18650 tactical light that also fits in your pocket. So that's another one. Paper always inches, 8.5 by 11. Yeah, I was at, yeah, just pull ruler out. No idea. Kona Commuter, that's interesting. The aggressive bezels get airport security excited. Yeah, you know, you can't trust anyone with anything these days. That's what people seem to think. You know, yeah, it's just nuts. Kona Commuter says the fall rate 25 meters. Yeah, American friends, that's 82 feet. Thanks for the conversion, Kona Commuter. This or the Warrior or the Olight Warrior X. Do you mean the Olight Warrior X3? The new one. They got the Warrior X4 as well. The Warrior X series. Well, that's the thing. The Warrior X series, they're almost like a different beast. They're larger, that's for sure. Take 21,700 cells. Look, it's hard. It's a hard call. It's a hard call, but I reckon I'd go with this one just because with Olight, there's a lot of proprietary stuff going on. You need to use their proprietary battery, the proprietary charger. Warrior X Turbo. Let me just have a look. I don't know if I'm thinking of the right one. Olight Warrior X Turbo. let me have a quick look at that one. Oh, okay, that's a gigantic light, isn't it? 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer throw. Yeah, if you need the extra range, a light like that could be good. Now, the only thing with Olight though is I found in a lot of their lights, now they're great for most people, like mainstream users, even enthusiasts, but they just have this thing that once the battery voltage drops to a certain point, you can't reactivate turbo anymore. Even when you're using the light and the battery, you know, the voltage is still good, you know, above 4 volts, and you know, it will step down, and then you can't reactivate turbo immediately after that. That's something that annoys me. I like just being able to have activate it just for even a second if I needed to use that turbo in an emergency. So there are these little inbuilt things in the UI, these safety mechanisms built into the UI. They've also got a little sensor in some of their lights, but it doesn't look like that's the case with the Warrior X. So yeah, if you need the 1,000 meter throw, yeah, that could be a good option. Another option is the Convoy L21B if you're looking for a budget option as well. That's also high performing. The L21B is fantastic. You're going to be able to get close to that 1 kilometer throw, if not exceed that, depending on the emitter that you have in there. If you have a Osram W2, W1, W2, easily you're going to be able to get a kilometer plus. I mean, I think I've got about 1.3 kilometers with my, 1.6 kilometers with my L21B, but that was with the CULPM1 F1, which is a green emitter. Probably the white one would throw over 1 kilometer still. But yeah, like Warrior X, $200 Australian. Don't know much about it. Like I really can't comment all too much on the performance because I've not used this light before. But based on my other Olights, the Olight products that I have, like they'll have great build quality and run times. It's the only thing is, they do step down, and once they step down, you have to wait for a bit to reactivate the turbo. Let's have a look. We have anything, just looking for that size. Yep. A few more people here in the chats. So if you're new here or you're just watching along, say hi down below in the comments. It'd be good to hear from some of you and where you're watching from. Maybe if you have any lights at the moment that you're interested in, or that you're interested in, got your eye on as well, just share it with us. I always like to learn new things as well. There's a lot of lights that I don't know about. So what else can I really talk about here? Yeah, I've gone through the UI. I think what I'll do is that I think I can bring up some pictures here of some tests that I've run. So this is going to be a little bit choppy, but let's see what we can do. Yeah. Okay, can you see this? Can you guys see that? You should be able to see a little graph here on the screen. So this is a runtime graph I did the other day. So this is with the the turbo mode. Okay, so you can see here starts off on 100%. And just before the 2-minute mark, so I'd say about 1 minute, what's that there, about 1 minute 45, you get the step down. Okay, steps down to about half of the output, just slightly more than half the output. Just ran that for a bit, and you can reactivate that turbo again, which is great. I always like lights that can do that, just in case you need to reactivate it. And there's proper temperature regulations, so you can see here it's not a timer. Some lights you reactivate the turbo and it just follows that same pattern no matter what you do. That's dangerous when you have lights that are high powered, because basically you're going to burn out the LED, or the light's going to get way too hot. It's dangerous. So it's good that it actually recognizes that the body is hot, and then it steps down a bit faster than that first one. And these runtime tests as well, it depends on the ambient temperature. I think the room temperature at the time was about 26 to 27 degrees Celsius. So if it's hotter in the room, if it's like 35 degrees, for example, today I've got the aircon on, you know, it's going to probably step down faster. Or if it's in a cooler environment, it's probably going to, you know, run for a bit longer. So that's your turbo. Here is the sustained output on the where is it? Let me just bring it up. Here, so this is the runtime test that I did on the main 3 modes. So it's like the highest main mode that you can put it on that's not turbo. Of course, the turbo steps down to 700 lumens. So this is actually separate from that. So 300 lumens, and as you can see, it maintains that very easily past, what's this, like, is that 25? About 25 minutes. Yeah, so 300 lumens is very easy to maintain with a large host like this. Yeah, but good to see that there is a mode on there that has sustained output. This is these are the tests that I ran on my Oppo Lightmaster Pro. Here you go. I've got to find a way to make these pop up a bit more seamlessly. If I plan it next time, maybe put the images and hide them and then unhide them, probably be a bit smoother. But you can see here, these are the different, what I got, okay, with the different tests. And I actually, you can see here on the turbo, I actually got 467 meters of throw, which is slightly below spec, but I'm not using a professional light meter. This is just a $50 light meter that I got from AliExpress. So there's going to be some margin of error. I don't know by how much, but it does get close to measuring what the actual figures should be. And the switch on figures, and also you can see here I've also measured with the filter on, and with the filters there's a significant degradation in throw performance. You know, that's like, you know, 92, it's like 1/5 of the performance, and green 198, because you're blocking out a lot of light as well. And that's why I recommend, if you need a light that is red or green, just get that particular emitter. Way more efficient than actually slapping on a filter. But you know, the convenience of a filter as well is also great. You do see some lights out there that have a combination of all 3 different LEDs. So I've seen, I think it's one of the Science-Gear lights, you rotate the head and it switches between green, red, white, another light. The problem with some of those is that the mechanism can impede with the heat dissipation. So the heat just doesn't sort of, because there's a break in the join there for you to sort of rotate the head. Yeah, the head doesn't dissipate heat as well as if it's just all connected, one big clump of metal that's interconnected. So yeah, like I said, sort of, yeah, you win some, you lose some, I guess. Let's have a look. Good, got here. Now you see 8 says, I'm looking for my first lightsaber, considering Convoy Z1 with Jatian red, green, or blue. Yeah, those are good options. If you get, I don't know if the Z1 comes with some of the. It does actually. It does come with the Osram W1 or W2s. You can get probably the Osram W1 W2s, but the only thing is that it's going to produce a square beam if you're looking at the Z1. So if you don't mind a square beam, that Osram W1 is like, that's going to look seriously like a lightsaber. Yeah, there's pretty much no spill when that light is zoomed in completely. But yeah, another thing you can do is, I'm just thinking, no, I was going to say get like a round emitter, but they only come in the 3000 and 6500K, so it sounds like you want a colored beam. Kona Kamina is asking, what happens when the battery is drained? Had a torch that worked, then when the battery was drained, it just stopped working, leaving me in the bush with no light apart from moonlight. So some batteries have like a protection circuit in there, so once it drains past a certain point, which is considered safe to use, so I believe that's like 2 point something volts, 2.7 volts, I think, the protection circuit actually kicks in, and in some cases it stops the battery from charging altogether. So there are some chargers that can revive the battery, but it's not recommended if you discharge the cell past a certain point. I don't know exactly that point. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I believe it's like maybe 2.75 volts, something like that. But it can be dangerous to charge it because of the chemical changes that occur in the cell. It's probably more dangerous to charge a battery if overcharge it to like 4.3, 4.45 volts, because it could explode. So I hope that kind of answers your question, Kona Commuter. Well, yeah, another thing is like, it depends on the driver. So some lights with constant output regulated drivers, they will sustain output for the duration of, even the battery's on like 10% or something like that, and it'll still be sustaining that output. It'll boost the voltage, and then it'll just completely drop off. Whereas some lights, will basically slowly dim until the voltage protection kicks in. So that's if the light has voltage protection. And a lot of these older alkaline battery flashlights, you know that you turn the light on and it will go on forever, and it just dims. It just dims to a little pinpoint of light until it just turns off. So yeah, with these lights now, these lithium-ion lights, the battery has a protection circuit in there. The driver itself, for most lights out there is a low voltage protection feature in there as well, which measures the voltage of the battery, and once it gets to a point that's unsafe or is too discharged, it will just stop. It will just stop working. Only the cheaper ones will continue to discharge a cell, and it's very dangerous to do that. So it's kind of good that it switches off, but yeah, probably good to have another cell on you. If you're out in the bush, just keep another cell in a plastic container, and yeah, that's really gonna be your best bet. All right, so yeah, I've gone through the performance considerations of this light. Now the cost is a big consideration. Obviously, like the kit is about $170 US. You get a lot of stuff with it, of course. You get this, you get all these mounts, these electronic switches, corded switch. Obviously you get the main stuff like the chargers, but you get these two colored filters, another 18650 battery, magnetic mount, a few other little accessories here and there. The holster, however, the holster is also included in the normal version, the non-kit version, which is $105, I think. So if you have the extra $65 to splash, it's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal because even the battery itself and a couple of these little accessories like the corded switch and these little filters, it actually works out to be a bit more economical to buy the kit if you need all the rest of the stuff. But this is more, I guess, targeted towards hunters. But yeah, the cost, of course, is a big consideration. But you just get so much value, and of course, you get the build quality and the kind of attention to detail of this light, of the Predator Pro, and then it's got to be. I reckon it's got to be in my top 5 tactical flashlights. Now, it's probably not one that I'm going to carry around with me all the time, and that's because it's just quite, like, the head is quite large. But if I was to go out on like a proper bushwalk, something like that, like, this would be one of the top 5 that I would grab, because I just know that I can rely on the thing. Okay, a lot of the other lights that I carry around with me, say if I'm just going for a short walk or something, I'll pick up like a small convoy light, chuck it in my pocket, because it's it's like $20-$30. If I lose it, no problems. Great performance, very easily pocketable as well. But you know, with all the attention to detail they put in their construction, you know, and the companies that get the little things right, even just the lettering and stuff, it's great quality. If they get their little things right, you find that the rest of it, you know, the rest of it's going to be great quality as well. Even there's the attention to detail with the switch that they're using. They really put a lot of thought into these lights. They are designed, I believe they are designed in Germany, in Europe, and their factory is in China. So yeah, obviously, you know, let me just lost the window here for a second. Another thing to mention, of course, the head. That's a consideration. I did talk a bit about that before. It's not going to fit in your jeans pocket comfortably, but if you put it in the holster, clip it onto your belt, completely fine. Especially if you need this light for work use. You know, if you're in law enforcement or security. And what else have I got? A point here I put down. I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I've already talked about this stuff already, but you know, the unscrewing of the head to access the other modes. Okay, it's a bit more hands-on. Okay, it requires a little bit more fiddling around. Okay, it might not be for you. Okay, some people like just a side switch so that they can operate it from there. Okay, but the advantage of this is that it does prevent accidental mode switches. Okay, and you know, because there's no USB port, there's no button on there as well. There's better ingress protection from water and dust. There's really no way that dust and water can get into this light once it's completely screwed in from both ends. Even in the switch area, like at the back. And of course, you know, this is a long range light, so there's limited spill. Let me just see if I can show you the beam. There we go. I mean, it's daytime, but yeah, can you see that? Maybe I can just put it on the lower version so you can see the general pattern. So it's really, that hot spot is so intense. Okay, and there's no artifacts as well. You know, sometimes with these hot spots with these lights, it's like a little donut hole. You don't get that there. Let me show you the spill pattern as well. Can you see the spill pattern? You don't get a whole lot of spill, right? But the spill is very bright because, of course, it's focused. It's more of like a focused-in flashlight. The spill is quite bright. So if you're looking at a target from short range, especially like medium range, you're going to illuminate not just the target, but objects surrounding that target are also going to be illuminated due to the spill being confined to a smaller area. Lights that have lots of spill, that's because the lumens, the light's basically just being spread out over a larger area. So yeah, it's a very specific type of spill. Turn this thing off. Really good at dissipating heat as well. You can feel the light warming up straight away, and yeah, not too hot to hold. Righty. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. Just have a quick look at the chats. I think there's a few more questions and things out there. Kona Commuter says, I'm really liking this light. Prefer the slowly dim option. Yeah, so that's probably, yeah, if you look at those FET drivers, FET driver lights, and those are a lot cheaper as well. They dim slowly depending on, because it's dependent on the voltage of the light. So yeah, there's lots of them out there. I find a lot of people, including myself, I prefer lights that have sustained output, just so that I know exactly how much light is going to be produced at any given point. Another thing I thought would have been good on this light, battery indicator. Where's the battery indicator? So you technically can use this as the battery indicator, the charger, but you're not going to have that on you when you're out. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to keep tabs of how long you're using the light, and of course, because there's a proper regulator driver in there, the light's just going to cut off. But you know, like I was showing you before in the specifications, you can get a good gauge of how much sustained output you get on each mode. Okay. Indonesia. So we've got Akla and Iman. Welcome. Thank you for joining today. Let's have a quick look. Mario. See you, Mario. Thank you for joining. I'll catch you next time, mate. Kona Commuter says, the thought they put into the tail switch is interesting. The fact that it can be turned on with the palm of your hand, whereas with the Warrior 3S, the raised ridges stop that. Yeah, and those raised ridges obviously allow you to tail stand the light. A lot of lights have that option, but you know, if you're a pure tactical flashlight person, apparently that's a big no-no. Yeah, for me it's not a big deal. Like, actually, even if you've got these raised edges on the side, like wherever you press it, as long as you're holding the light like this, you press in the center, you're always going to turn that light on. But definitely I find this is just a lot easier. There's nothing else to touch on this thing. It's the first thing that sticks out. So, you know, yeah, pros and cons, you know. Alrighty, so yeah, overall, I do need to do some more. Basically, what I have left to do is some outdoor beam shots, and just see how it performs, especially because this is the warm version of this light. So I want to do some tests to see how it's like in real life. I like to just use it for a little bit, try to carry it around my pocket and see how uncomfortable or comfortable it may be. But so far, this has got to be definitely in my top 5 full-size tactical flashlights out there. It just ticks all the boxes in what I would want in a serious tactical light. The quality, the potted electronics, you know, the IP68 and the 25-meter drop. It just feels like it's going to take a beating as well. The great, fantastic grip. Love the button, the beam especially. I love that focused hot spot in the center. No artifacts. You know, I tend to carry around lights with smaller heads, but you know, if you want a lot of extra throw, there's no other option really, unless you want to go LEP. But with LEP, they don't really have floody options, and they're low lumens as well. So yeah, I'd really recommend it. I'm going to be doing some beam shots, but if you have questions, yeah, drop them down. Have I missed anything today? Is there something that you want me to talk about with this light? I always ask that at the end of my normal reviews, but since I'm actually here live, there might be something that you want to know about this light that I haven't talked about. Maybe I've picked up an accessory and I just didn't go into it with enough detail, something like that. But you let me know, maybe if you're watching along afterwards as well. Let me know down in the chats if you have questions, because surely I've missed some things out. The big thing, of course, is the beam shots. I mean, I did a quick little one behind there, but that doesn't really count. I'm gonna have to go out, drag my camera out, and do some real shots from different distances. So I'm actually quite excited to do, because I want to also compare it with this one here, my Armytek Dobermann Pro. So this is kind of like the little brother, I guess, of the Armytek Predator Pro. This one would be more suitable for carrying around in your pocket. And they both come with the XHP 35 high. Okay, you can get warm and cool versions of each one. This one throws, I believe, about 300 meters. Okay, just under 300 meters. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to look at the specs again. So you get definitely an increased amount of performance with this one. Better heat dissipation as well, because it's going to be a larger host. But I do find also that the LED is better focused on this one. Okay, up close on a white wall, I do notice some slight artifacts in the center of the beam. Of course, this is not a good indication of what do you call it? a good indication of a quality tactical light, because when you go outside anyway, it doesn't really make much of a difference. In longer ranges, it focuses nicely. Now up on a white wall, you're always going to see some, some little distortions here and there. It's never 100% perfect, but I do find definitely this one is more focused, and just a larger reflector, obviously, so you can get extra throw out of it. But they're both 18650 lights, roughly about the same length, as you can see, a little bit more on the Predator Pro. There's also another one Armytek have called the Viking Pro, and that is like a high lumen version of these. So I think it's about 2000 plus lumens, but it doesn't have the throw capabilities of either of these lights. So I think it's at 200 or less meters of throw. So it's more of like a floody sort of light with a large hot spot. So yeah, I don't have that one. I was more interested in this one, in the throwier sort of version. Okay, but yeah, I want to do a comparison of these two as well later on down the track. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. I'm probably going to end the stream in a moment. I'll give you guys another second or two to ask some questions. But yeah, remember to like the video if you've enjoyed it today, and if you want to help support me, help support the channel. It doesn't cost you a cent to click the like button. It helps me to get the video out to more people as well. This has been a bit of an experiment, this video, because I wanted to see how this would be like doing live reviews. I feel a little bit out of my comfort zone as well, because I've not planned this video. I've got a couple of little dot points here, but apart from that, it's just mainly the main things I'm talking about. Like, I'll talk about performance, UI, just to remind me, talk about the LED, talk about, the lens, which I've forgotten to talk about, actually, glass lens, anti-reflective glass lens. So another good point to mention. So yeah, how did you find today? If you're still watching, I do see about 12 of you here. How did you find this sort of setup, this sort of setup of review? It's not as planned or polished as my main videos, which I still need to polish up a lot, to be honest. But the ones where I've just a lot shorter, obviously, the planned videos, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes reviews with the beam shots in the end. Did you enjoy this sort of format, and is there anything I could improve or do better, for next time, or things that you thought I did well? Always keen to get feedback from people, good or bad feedback. I want to hear it all, and that's the only way that I can make these better for you, because you're spending your time watching this. So I, don't want to waste your time. I want to make sure that it's good value for you. Kona commuters are saying, may I suggest doing these at regular time and day so we know to come on? Okay, so you mean like plan it? Oh, at a regular time and day. Okay, so like a planned time kind of thing, like every week. Do them at a particular time and day. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a good idea, actually. Yeah, I'll write that down and have a look as well and see when people are most active, because I think probably would get more viewers at a time where people know that I'm gonna go live, and at a time where they're not sleeping or yeah, basically not sleeping. So yeah. Alrighty, so I'm gonna end this one, but I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna make another version of this review as well. I want to compare, see how this one goes compared to the other one, and yeah, it'll just be like a shortened version of this with my beam shots as well. But yeah, really appreciate you all being here. And if you have any questions later on, you're watching this later on, any comments, let me know. Love to hear from you. But have a fantastic day. Have a great weekend, and take it easy. And I'll see you all next time.